Hello and welcome to session 3 of Nice Black Agents. This is using a slightly different version of the base resolution system. So if you're watching and you're like, what is going on? Just know that that's what's happening. But otherwise it plays very much like standard Gumshoe for the system in a lot of ways. We're on session 3 of our first mission. They've got a lot of pieces in play, and we're going to see if we can bring that home today for this mission. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Calendar. That's an online gaming community, which we have about 100 games each month on the calendar. You can find out about that better at gauntlet-rpg.com. Has a lot of details on how we play, what sign up is like, the fact that we use safety tools mandatory for all our games, community code of conduct, all of that kind of thing. Our safety tools for this game are the X card as a baseline, lines and veils, which we have established lines on harm to children, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, and viruses, plagues, pandemics. And then veil, meaning a fade to black on dental horror, harm to animals, sexual content, and torture. And those are the big ones. So let's start with Henry. Henrietta, give us the elevator pitch on your character.
Yes, so you'll see behind me that I am channeling Orphan Black here, Henrietta Michaels, former MI6 cuckoo, i.e. she worked for foreign intelligence pretending to be other people, and she has 10 or 11 versions of Orphan Black to call upon depending on circumstances. And I think it's fair to say that Henry is very worried about the clock ticking on the vampire that we have happily escaped an encounter with, tracking down their Renfield, which we have in custody. Not very secure custody.
True, and we'll come back to that. And then, Stephen, would you give us the elevator pitch on Viola?
Yeah, hey there. I'm Stephen, he, him, and I'm playing Viola Poe, she, her. Viola is a former US cybercom, has a shady background, has a thing for sabotaging cars, apparently. That's her thing. And a surprise martial artist.
Yes. And then Pavel, tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm Pavel. I'm playing Karl Pot, who is a wet worker from Polish Grom Force. He kills people, he infiltrates places, he's bold and nasty, and he likes to do some action scenes.
Excellent. And last but not least, Paul, tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Paul, he, him, and the character I'm playing is Peter Skellen, also he, him. Peter is a British GCHQ or ex-GCHQ analyst, easily described as the man in the van. But last week he explored his repertoire of skills, and he can also fire a sniper's rifle. And we saw him take out a moving target last week. So yeah, he's ever growing, Peter.
As I mentioned last time, if you haven't done it already, you can refresh. You can refresh 1 to 1 of your investigative pools. You can refresh 3 points on general pools. You can do both of those. You can skip one of those to refresh one of your talents if you want. So last time there was a physical encounter with the vampire, moving away with the Renfield Marta Oziot. 2 people were injured in that incident. Both Peter and Karl were struck by the vampire. You fell back to a safe house where you questioned Marta and got some sense of the gap in her knowledge of about 2 years. But you were able to, by dropping some names, pull out some information about what she did recall. You have the sense that Pordano, the guy who brought you in, plus 3 other people were involved in something with Marta, probably involving, from what you've seen, getting her out from underneath the influence of vampiric master, whether, at least this rose water that she was given seems to break that contact for a time. Right now, you don't have any idea of exactly how long the duration is of the dose of that. So that's right now an open question. So you have about half a flask of that rose water still remaining. Ozyurt is sedated and secured at the safe house. And that safe house is safe and clear unless something terribly goes wrong in the field. That's basically how that works for those talents. Last time you followed up on, looked at a couple of things, particularly the church that you've been given the image about, along with the image of this cross, and that you found out that it's a famous church in Bucharest that has a cave system on it, that was apparently maybe a fallback position. Message was given via text to Ozyurt. You followed up on another location, one that had been sent to you in the original message from Pordano at this farmhouse. When you got there, clearly it had been compromised. You arrived, saw that an ambush had been set up, and you kind of turned the tables on that. And while it didn't go exactly as you wanted, you were able to get a number of pieces of information. One being that they are definitely looking for Ozyurt and don't want her dead. 2, that an Englishman named Sinclair is clearly running the operation here in Bucharest. You were able to establish that one of the people that was part of Pordano's team, Loretti, was at that farmhouse and very likely dead. The other 2, clearly these people didn't have a sense of where they were. And that's Hulyer, biochemist, and Rostami, who is clearly in the same line of work as you. So those 2 people are kind of still out in the wind. You have bugs on one of the operatives from,
Question.
Yes.
Before we go too deep, let's return for a moment to this. So we have an image of a cross, an image of a church, and it's a church here in Bucharest.
Yes.
And there was some cross. Is it just like some cross in a museum? Do we have?
It looked like an antiquity. It was on a museum display. I don't believe that that's been followed up on yet.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. You have bugs on one of the attackers from session 1 on his boot, though how long that's going to last, given that it's been going on a number of hours since then. But you also have bug on the vehicle, at least one of the vehicles that was involved in the farmhouse attack. And so you've got 2 sets of ears there. The most important sort of operative piece of information that was gained before that person was put out was the location of Sinclair's HQ in Bucharest. You were given that address, and you did it in such a way that the general group is probably not going to realize that yet that you have that information. Just to be clear on that. You called up, I believe Henry called up a contact and put a group of people in play to essentially do loose observation of the location. And I've given us a face for the team leader of the surveillance there on the thing. And you have a picture for Sinclair because, of course, you got some information on him having been from MI5 and so on. So what do we have on the table today? Sinclair's location, whatever he's doing. We've got the bugs. We've got trying to find Hulyer. trying to find Rostami. The other physical location we have is the church. We also know that clearly there's more pressure being brought to bear, and that while Sinclair is running some mercenaries, the group behind this, whatever is involved, also has connections with the Romanian criminal underworld. So they have access to other resources. In particular, mention was made of interdicting roads, train station, the airport, those kinds of things. They're certainly trying to watch for people getting Ozure out of the area. Does that seem like a fair summary of where we're at? So we're going to kind of cut back to the safe house. After you've returned from that operation, Ozure is still out. We're probably getting on now dawn at this point. It's very early morning. I think we're on day 2 effectively of this. And you can decide how you want to proceed from here. I think we kind of do a scene with the 4 of you at whatever kind of operational table you have there, probably an IKEA table that's been set up, papers, laptops. We probably see all of the detritus of Peter and Viola's work, wires running places and that kind of thing around the place, and probably now lots of empty coffees that Carl has gone out and gotten around in here. So when we come in, what are you saying, Henry?
Now that Tanya has eyes on Sinclair, before he has a chance to either meet up with some more of those goons, or those goons have a chance to get back to him, I want to take him. I want to kidnap him. Because he knows more than we do at this point. And if we've got an edge now, we know where he is, he doesn't know where we are. So that's where my 5 Pennethworth is. Let's pick up Sinclair. Though I have to say, I am friggin' exhausted.
Yeah, that's my only concern is, what if Sinclair has the another face, the flying face which throws trees? If this happens to be true, we will be caught at a major disadvantage. So, although I would like to rush it, maybe it's safer to lay low, take a rest, observe the place, usual stuff. By the way, you carried Guy out of the field. Do we still have it, or did you just drop?
I was trying to remember that. Yeah, I did take a prisoner, didn't I? What I can't remember, Lowell, what I would have wanted to do would be to try and pump him for information in the car. And I was kind of assuming he wasn't going to tell us anything we didn't have already.
Yeah, I think you would essentially, what you'd get is confirmation from a secondary source of the materials.
In which case, just kick him out of the 4-wheel drive on the motorway.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, you're certain that everything you've been told so far is confirmed.
Another venue I thought we should proceed is, I think it's time for some open hand with Maria, because if anyone knows more about this vamp, as much as unpleasant it can be for her, we need to question her, what she remembers, maybe help her remember, maybe don't go so high on this Roused stuff, because she knows a lot. But yeah, just throwing this on the table.
The trouble is, the tree's getting really wide. We need to concentrate on one branch, close that down, then switch to another. So let's let's concentrate on just one thing rather than this, that. If not, we'll sort of individually play for an hour and we won't really achieve much. that's just my two penneth. I'm not saying I'm against it. So let's come up with a plan of action. Clearly, it's daylight now. We are knackered. But daylight is a good time because vampires shouldn't be out and about. So if Sinclair is a vampire, he won't be out and about. Or we may find him in a box. You never know. I don't know much about vampires. Kidnapping him, that's a good direct plan. Would it be better to try and fool him to hand over information freely? It may require a bit more imagination, thinking, but it comes at a lot less risk unless you get exposed. Now, we think he works for and I'm not very good at the Lupatori.
No, we think the Lupatori are working for him, don't we?
Yeah, you
Okay.
think that they're connections, but
They're the goons.
yeah.
But he used to work for MI5, MI6. Could we
Still
plant
does.
somebody higher up the chain to try and yank his chain, trying to get him to divulge information for free?
Well, again, at the risk of growing the tree, the trouble with that one is that as far as British intelligence is concerned, I'm dead.
True, but you could be somebody else.
I could, but I'm not sure we've got anything to go to MI5 with.
I'm just thinking of trying to convince him to, hand over information freely.
Convince him that I'm MI5. I see what you mean. No, but
yeah. Or you're something else. You're pretend to be a vampire. I don't know, something. That's one method. Or let's go straight with the kidnap. It would just, that's a direct assault.
Well, no. At the minute, we're talking about how we do something. Let's get a list of what we could do. We could kidnap him. We could try to pump Marta for more information. What are the other things we could do?
The list we had from last week was weaponize the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the rose water, and there's investigate the church, the Jella Hall, the cave system. Would that be a good place for Rostrami, or maybe Julia, the priest? He may be, because this was linked to, she was going there as maybe a fallback location. Maybe, Julia's there, because we know Loretti was in the area.
So
Maybe
hang on, let me boil it down then. So weaponize, kidnap, interrogate, church.
Yeah, and well, I want to ask here because it feels like the hang up we're getting on, and perhaps the question we need to be pursuing is trying to figure out at least who the vampire is, even if we don't know what their weaknesses are. Because the hang up here is, who do we approach who's not going to eat us?
Okay, so 6 on that list. Identify vampire. Okay.
Do we have any leads to? I think the others have got to lead to identifying the vampire.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't think of anything that identifies the vampire outside that list.
That'll be my question to Viola, is what have you got in mind for how we identify the vamp?
Oh, well, that's... I guess I actually do look at over to Carl, because Carl, you're the only one of us that has vampirology, right?
Yes.
Carl, do you know so Marta's connected to the vampire. Is there any way that we could do a kind of, reverse trace Marta? Like caller ID on Marta.
I think Carl's first comment is, I think you watch too much Star Trek. But then let me ask Lowell for, is it possible?
So I'm going to say yes, but so if the vampires follow classic vampirology in Bram Stoker's Dracula, Van Helsing hypnotizes Mina to fall back on the line and get information. However, that would open her up. Right now, you've got her dosed with the rose water, so that that connection is severed. So you'd either need to get that out of her system or wait until that clears to be able to do that. That's the but on it. Also, you like that's maybe shrink be appropriate for the hypnotism thing, but it's an untested hypothesis.
Yes, this is what I relate to Viola.
So let's put that near at the bottom of the list then.
One thing we could do is we could do a quick once around of like following information leads. Do a quick on that because all of you have some threads that are out there that you could pull on in the time that you're kind of catching your breath. And then based on that, we can see what the next step is regarding Sinclair or the church or Marta, which seem like the sort of three actionable ways. Does that seem fair? In that case, let's kind of do a once around on that, because I know that you, Henry, wanted to follow up on Julia last time. You mentioned that in particular in the end thing. So let's start with that if you'd like. Or do you want to talk to your people in the field?
I think I want to know what's happening to Sinclair.
Okay.
So yeah, I want to contact Tanya, and I don't know. What am I using? Am I using Streetwise as my investigative skill, conceivably?
Yeah, Streetwise or surveillance or tradecraft all are appropriate for running your agents here.
Okay, well, let's go with tradecraft then.
Okay.
To contact Tanya in a discreet manner and get a report from her of the current state of play. And if you give me current state of play, I'll then decide whether I want to spend some more.
Okay. So you'll contact Tanya, and she scrambled people into position. This is a person who essentially works surveillance, Bucharest police for a number of years, contact when you've worked here, and so is familiar with this kind of thing. And she says, so your guy is on the third floor, housing block. Looks like they've got adjoining rooms. Curtains are open, but they've got mirrored inside, so the sunlight's getting in, but it's hard for us to see. And they're clearly taking steps to, when we do the laser mic up to the windows, we're not getting anything, so they've got countermeasures there. But otherwise than that, they're not doing a lot of counter intel. There's like one or two guys in the area that are clearly stakeout. And from what we've seen, it's Sinclair and a couple of people up in there. We're definitely getting some noise, so we suspect that he's got some communications gear running in there. We're not sure whether it's free range or he's got it hooked up to the building's lines. But it seems like he's in there. We've actually seen him come down and talk to somebody out on the street and send them on. And it matches the photo that you sent us.
Thanks, Tanya. Just keep eyes on.
Mm-hmm,
there.
mm-hmm. Do you want to do any spends further on that?
I at this point, I don't think I do. I
Okay.
think if first time round, that tells me what I wanted to know.
Okay.
If I think he's becomes the priority operation, then I might spend some more.
Sure. Viola, what is it you want to look into? I noticed you had the rose water on your agenda. You have these bugs. Is there something else you want? What would you like to do?
No, I guess yeah, I'm going to examine this rose water as people talked about, trying to figure out how to if there's any way of reverse engineering it.
Do you have chemistry?
I think I do,
Okay.
yes. Let
Uh,
me double check that.
yeah. If you'll make a chemistry spend
Yeah,
from that technical pool,
okay.
um, this is unusual. It is both standard chemicals, but also some botanicals and some other things you're not able to identify. It's clearly been synthesized, uh, uh, and you're guessing it's like some kind of alchemical thing. Like it's weird, and at least with what you have, you're not going to be able to reverse engineer this as it is. You're going to need to know, you're going to need the formula to do this and expertise. But given what you know about Julia, you're guessing this is something that Julia put together. Uh, and I think you can safely say that this probably was expensive, time consuming, and difficult to make. Does that seem fair?
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it does give you the sense that uh, if he's operating around in the area, that may be a way to track Julier is through lab equipment or purchases or that kinds of things in the Bucharest area. Because you assume, given its relative fragility, that it probably was made here in the city.
Yeah, and I do have actually what would this be? Like data recovery?
Mm-hmm.
If
That's
that's
for computers and things like that, for going to electronic things more than, yeah.
okay.
But that may be a way for you to follow up, is to crack into, you know, some chemical warehouses and that kind of thing in the area,
Okay.
and track that back. Yeah. Uh, Carl, what is it you want to be looking into, talking to, examining? What do you think?
Hmm. Yeah, let's do it. Even though maybe time isn't the best, early morning isn't the time for the criminals to be up. But yeah, I think Carl wants to go meet someone he knows who is part of the Lupatory, and learn more about what's the connection between the Sinclair and the Lupatory. Why are they working for him, and so on.
So you will do a spend from your streetwise. Does that seem
Yes.
fair? Okay. And essentially, you'll head out. Where do you suppose you meet your guy here this early in the morning?
Mm, yeah, I was thinking. I think it's the Starbucks in the square, because the contact I'm thinking, her name is Nero. She used to be a combat medic, but then she decided to carry this knowledge um, to healing and doing nasty things for the criminals pay. And now she's semi like lieutenant level and so on. So uh,
And so you'll go talk to her, and uh, you'll kind of ask, and she doesn't know Sinclair by name, but she'll say there are a bunch of gangs, a bunch of mafia, different families running around here in Bucharest. Lupatori are one of the ones with the bigger reach. Uh, they clearly have uh, clearly part of a bigger network. Uh, there's A lot of these gangs are dedicated to sections of the city. Lupatori have bigger ambitions. And there's rumors that they're connected to some Ukrainian gangs, and maybe even a network of Turkish. That's just what I've heard. Like they've got connections across that. I do know that they are out and about right now. Like someone has put a call out, and their foot soldiers are out on the street. Like they got roused out of bed. And that's unusual. But what I heard is that last night they got pulled back from like going and like looking places and sent to cover exits. And the word I heard is that somebody else was coming in to do the hunting.
That's interesting. Do you know who is coming to me to do the hunting?
I don't know, but somebody has to be high up the food chain to be yanking them like this. Sending him scouring around for 24 hours and then suddenly sending him just to sit on the airport and bus stations and things. So whoever they called in has got to be a nasty piece of work.
Sure. If you hear who is it, maybe it's I would love to know why they didn't hire me. But yeah, if you hear who did they hire, let me know.
You want me to look into that?
Yes. I mean, unless it puts you in direct danger, but yeah.
If I'm asking about the Lupatori, it's all putting me in direct danger. I'm asking if you're going to make it worth my while.
Well, you know that I can pay my debts.
Okay. Well, I will see what I can find out, and I will get back to you.
Sure. Good seeing you, Nero.
Good seeing you, Pot. Or actually, she probably knows you by your check handle, so she probably refers to you as Novak.
Yeah, probably.
Let's come to Peter.
I'd like to sort of spend some time listening to the bugged, what I think is the Lupatori goons. I would like to build up a sort of a digital voice profile of a couple of these guys. So yeah, I'm thinking the Mission Impossible sort of electronic voice box device. So yeah, maybe one or two of those guys, maybe sort of build up some, so somebody could use it as an advantage, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if that's a sort of a forgery spend or a forgery technical.
Yeah, if you want to do that spend, and note for yourself like a 3-point pool to spend when you go to use that for a general ability. That's the kind of thing. You'll pick up a couple of things from listening on the bugs. Sinclair's pissed. Sinclair's people are looking for Hulier and Rostami. They don't know the names, but they're clearly referring to there are a couple of other people involved with whatever this network was that Father Loretti was with. That is a name they do use. They have no idea who you guys are. And like that's clearly they're trying to figure that out. And right now, they're kind of cooling their heels to see what happens next. Though one of the people will refer to the hounds, and like people get quiet when that's said. Does that seem like fair info?
Yeah, that sounds totally fair. What I'm sort of thinking here, as I turn to the three is, we want Sinclair. If we can pull him out of where he is, either we can go in there and Viola can bug like she's never bugged before and extract some information from his HQ if we pull him out with his goons. Or we could then switch to the Henrietta, let's take him out while he's out of his stronghold. I was thinking, we've got something he wants. Why don't we impersonate his goons and say, we've pulled, these people, as in us, we've got them trying to get out of the city. We've pulled them at a checkpoint. They've hit us hard. We've had to go to a safe house. Maybe set up another safe house as an ambush site. Maybe draw in there, take him out.
That does rely on Sinclair coming after us personally.
So we need something good enough to pull him out. We need something good enough to pull him out.
Rather than sending the hounds.
Or it would pull the hounds to somewhere we're not.
Yeah, I don't quite see how that makes him easier to take from his safe house then.
Well, if he stays in his safe house, he should deploy some forces to back up his men, who will impersonate and say, we're pinned down at a checkpoint or something.
I mean, at the moment, he's got 4 people on site, we think. Tanya reckons there's 1 or 2 in the room with him, and she spotted 1 or 2 staking out the outside. Seems a pushover to me.
So go for an assault?
Well, the only other alternative is whether Viola can track Houllier by lab buys. Whether that's research or traffic analysis.
Yeah, I was going to look into that.
So the question becomes, move on Sinclair and then do that, or do another once a round of research, or split up? How do you want to play that?
Well, my cards are on the table. I think it's daylight. He's not got many people on site. It's not going to get any easier once these hounds begin to track us.
Let's do it. And, let's not forget that we think he has someone captive. So it could be. So I'm expecting that either Houllier or Rostani are there being captive. So we will hopefully get them both.
Here's the thing, just to clarify, that Sinclair and his people don't have Houllier or Rostami, and they're still looking for them.
So we're just going to get him for information. That's what we want him for.
I want to know what's going on.
So at the farm,
I'm perfectly happy with that.
At the farm, we learned that Loretti is dead in the farmhouse.
Uh-huh.
And I was under strong impression that they captured someone else and they have taken him to the warehouse or them.
No, and in fact, he was bluffing with you, and you essentially saw through that. In fact, they don't have the people.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you had your gun on him, and you were reading him for how much truth he was telling.
Fooled me. Luckily, Carl was there to not be fooled.
So, a frontal assault, You know, it's got Carl written all over it.
Top down, I thought. You know, we've got two people on the street, so let's go in through the roof.
Yeah.
Um,
Without creating too much sort of smoke, I take it you don't want a Who Dares Wins, roping in, smashing through windows.
well, you know, I think I'm conscious of the heat clock.
Yeah, I'd prefer something a bit more
Okay.
non-obvious.
Assuming that Carl is the spear point, Viola, how do you see how can you get us? How can you help with this extraction?
So do we have any eyes on the building itself yet?
Yep.
Okay. So what is this? Oh, go ahead.
I have my contact and a team have staked the building out.
Is it like a single building? Is it like a part of a larger complex? I'm just
third floor of a housing.
Yeah.
Let's get the photos from the surveillance team, from the beamer onto the wall, and we're just like browsing through them.
So third floor of a housing block, mirrored windows.
Yeah.
Right.
And Viola, I think you can pull up with your skills. You can pull up a basic map. It's like a block of houses, essentially connected up. It's the third floor apartment on one of these. It does mean that you can go to the end of the block, get up onto the roof there, and go down to the middle of the block where they're at. Buildings are 4 floors, so it's only 1 floor down, and you can get basic floor plans and layout. Two external windows facing out the sort of the back of the apartment. There's another apartment on the same floor, but basic stairwell, no elevator.
Can we tell what kind of ventilation stroke heating system is in place?
Probably a radiator.
Any ducts?
Yeah, I would assume there'd be ductwork.
I'm just wondering, what would it take, Viola, to pump some knockout gas in there?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess first off, I guess this is just kind of my point of confusion about the system.
Sure.
Like, what kind of stuff do we have? Like, could I actually get a hold of knockout gas?
And that's why you have preparedness.
Okay.
For anything standard like night vision goggles, bugs, all of that kind of stuff, we assume that's all trade stuff. Something a little more fancy like the knockout gas, we'd make a roll.
Okay. Well, I am shaken right now, and so Viola probably does not have knockout gas. But if somebody else has acquired it, Viola could probably manage something.
Sure, I can try to acquire the gas. Just a quick question, since there was some time passing between the night action and action we'll be doing now. Do we heal up our stability, and can we somehow take care of this shaken? Oh, the shaken was a roll. Okay, so I remember. So do we heal the stability?
Stability, let's go back to the rules. Out of combat, you can clear 1 harm in that space that you have between. So either stability and health. Conditions require a little more effort.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose Carl would go to his room and open the case and and see if he did pack a knuckle gas, because he sometimes
How much do you want to spend?
brings
Your roll.
weird stuff. I'm going to spend one,
Okay.
and we will see how it goes. 2d6 plus 1. It's an 8.
8. So yes, you have it, but you've essentially got one shot at it. You've got just enough to maybe do an apartment.
Sure. Yeah. I just like go to the wardrobe, open the wardrobe, open the case, and yeah, put the container on the table.
And then I'm guessing something like mechanics to
Yeah.
operationalize that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a way to subdue. What about a route to the roof? If we're going to go in through the top, what are our options?
Fire escapes
Viola
down the
already
block
sort of
are
got a
pretty
roof.
easy.
Yeah.
Say again, Peter.
Viola, I think, got a route, didn't she? Over some sort of nearby buildings and dropping down onto the roof.
Okay. How many floors up above the 3rd floor?
Just one. It's a 4-floor apartment.
Okay. Is there a fire escape on the roof?
There are going to be fire escapes various along the block. Yeah.
So if
Clarifying question, because I do remember hearing about 2 guys on the ground, and they are in the housing block. So this is like a normal housing block, and there are some just guys patrolling outside. I'm just trying to picture
No,
this.
there
there
are two guys inside. That's what they've established by surveillance, and there's a couple of guys sitting on the street, essentially.
Okay.
They're sitting in cars or whatnot, kind of keeping an eye out.
Perfect. Now I'm clear with this.
how would we get something into the vent? Would we have to go in through some kind of basement boiler room?
Infiltration?
Well, sorry, no. I'm wondering where it is. Basement, or is it some kind of roof unit?
Well, presumably the intake of air by putting it in the basement would be a bit of a poor decision.
You could just try and disperse it and see if you could if you can isolate a vent, or you could essentially do it at the door.
Do we need to check if we've got gas masks, or will we have gas masks?
You have gas masks.
Okay. They come with
So
the
how
kit
about
with
one
the
of us-
knockout gas.
How about one of us crawls down whatever venting we can infiltrate into and drops the canister into the room?
I have to say, I was imagining vents like this rather than alien ones.
It is like apartment house vents.
Yeah.
So my question remains: is there a way to get this into that apartment from some kind of central location, or is the best solution to kind of squirt it under the door? I prefer it through a vent, because if they notice it, they'll rush out through the door.
Doing it with the vent is going to be a mechanics roll. Essentially, we'd roll, we'd get into the situation, and we'd have a roll for that. If you just want to drop it on the door, there's no roll.
I'd like to get it in the room.
No, I'm cool with doing that.
Okay. What I'm trying to get at, I think, is when this finally gets to split screen, top right, Viola in the basement, top left, Carl on the roof. So I'm just trying to locate us in space, I guess, in terms of how this op will go.
Where will you be, Peter, when all this goes down?
I think on a nearby roof with my sniper's rifle.
Okay. And I assume, Henry, that either puts you in the hall or on the roof with Carl?
I think that puts me in the hall.
Okay. Hall.
I'm not sure about the roof, because if they have guys on the outside, they will clearly see me in the day. So I think it's like shotgun through the door handle.
I mean, remember, the roof is 4 floors up. They're on the street. I'm not suggesting you swing down the outside. I'm suggesting you infiltrate from the roof down.
So I'm assuming that you and he then are in the hall if you're coming in from the roof.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
I mean, unless Carl wants to do the full abseil, in which case, fine. But then we've got the sniper rifle on the roof opposite, just in case.
So then here's what we see is we've established there's just minimal security. We've got standard fire escapes. We see Carl, Viola, and Henry going up here in the early morning, kind of coming across the roof line, over, getting to the door that goes up onto the top of the building, heading down a floor. Viola goes down, heads down to the basement electricals access. Meanwhile, Peter, we see you again on the other roof. Are you watching the guys on the street, or you want to be at the angle where you can take shots into the room? I guess that'll be my question.
Shots into the room.
Okay. Then we
Remember
see that
the glass is mirrored.
Yeah, that's what infrared was invented for.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll get three bodies in the room. We see Henry and Carl in the hallway. Viola, you make your way down to the basement. Get down in there. It's early morning. This is a weekday. Some people are coming. Leaving for work. There's a smell of breakfast being cooked. All of that kind of stuff. You'll move down, kind of have to slide by where people have their bicycles in the front hall and such, and slip into the basement. Let's have you make a mechanics roll.
Okay. So let me bring up the roll with me.
Now, let me tell you one thing you could use for a tactical fact-finding benefit here. If you wanted to spend like a point from your chemistry.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
You could do that, and then that would give you 3 points towards your specialist for doing this mechanics if you want, and you can spend some or all of that.
Okay. Yeah, I will. In that case, I'll spend that down, and so I can choose to spend it all now for a +3.
Yeah, if you want.
Cool. Okay. All right. That's an 11.
That is an 11. So we see that go on. We see the split screen. We see the comms. Carl, Alan, you're kind of casual in the hallway, keeping yourselves quiet. You've got eyes on this, watching. And Peter, you will see 2 of these guys fall to the floor, and the third guy stands up.
Well, I will relay that information and say either he's got a gas mask on or he's something special. Be prepared.
Carl, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Get flung out that window, Carl.
Yeah, I'm not doing outside. I'm doing from the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture this to be awesome and cool. Yeah, I think Carl just positions himself on the other side from the door, and then there is a really solid kick to the door.
Okay. I want an athletics roll for this. You're definitely going to pop the door, but this is about how much exposure you have in the process. Does that seem fair?
Yes. I'm going to spend again 1. I like it. No, don't create the roll. Just roll the dice. And that's a 5.
That's a 5. So you kick that door and solid reinforced. You have to do that second kick. And when it comes open, there is this and you take a shot to the midsection there for 2 harm.
Should we engage the harm move? Because
Yes, let's engage the harm move. Let me ask you this. Do you think that you are wearing some kind of body armor? Because you were kind of doing an op that's a little less subtle. Do you think you have like a vest on for this?
I think I do have, but it's the only the one versus small calibers.
Yeah.
With the one you can hide under clothing.
Yeah. So you're going to just take 1 harm then. Okay. You still look a little bulky. If any police pull you over, they're going to go, why are you wearing that?
Yes.
So let's have you make that roll.
It's plus harm suffered. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah. This is the take the hit, roll plus harm suffered.
Now it's at 12.
Okay. So I think that this hits you, and you go back over the stair rail. Henry, you've got a choice now as Carl is about to go over the stair rail. You can stop and keep him from falling, or you can try to deal with Sinclair.
I have to stop Carl falling. Grab the front of the vest and just heave him back.
This is an athletics check. Again, you're going to get him back. The question is how exposed you're going to be when you do this.
Yeah. I will spend all I have left in that area. I will spend 2 and do a normal roll and then add 2 to it. That is 10 plus 2 is 12.
You yank Carl up before he even kind of goes back and pull him out of the way of any further shots from this guy. And you're like, Sinclair might have had the edge, but with that 12, I think that nobody has the edge right now. You can hear him moving in the thing, like he's clearly going to try and get to cover. Peter, you are muted.
I think this is a good time to shoot him with a high caliber weapon.
Okay.
So, bit of 50 cal.
Can I? We need a prisoner. We need a prisoner.
Yeah, I'm aiming to maim, not shooting to kill.
So this is the question. This is one of the things. The sniper rifle is not a combat against a foe kind of role. This is a role to see whether you kill this guy, miss, or do what you want.
Okay, so I'm going to spend 2 from my shooting pool. Uh, 2d6 with a modifier of 2. Let's see what we get. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. 14.
So
Okay.
there is that crack, and that we hear the sound of that window shatter, and on screen we see Sinclair spin around as the bullet takes out, essentially hits his upper arm, goes through, and he drops to the ground just immediately from that. And probably you did it just when a car backfired with a 14, so that the guys out on the street, they may go, but we don't see them get out of their cars. And he is down on the ground. Motherfucker! Oh, God! And
please bag him and tag him, folks.
Carl, Henry, let's start with Carl, because you suffered the worst of this, and then we'll actually should probably also check in with Viola.
Yeah, now being pulled by Henry, I'm already rushing in. saying just clear, short thank you. Yeah, I jumped into the room, seeing the target on the ground. I put my knee on his back and some zip ties on his arms, both arms back, even though
Oh, blood everywhere.
yeah, like zip ties.
Okay. Yeah, you can see there are two guys dressed similarly to the guys that you saw, before, that are unconscious from Viola's gassing. You've got your masks on. You can see that he's got a pretty sophisticated comms set up here. What do you want to do, Viola? Are you moving up there? Are you moving into another position? Where we see you at?
Well, I think that we see Viola. Yeah, I guess she's moving up there. Like, I don't think there's anything Viola can really do from down below.
Okay. So we'll see you move up. You kind of make some noise so people maybe don't realize that they heard, a window shatter, or a guy kind of cry out. And so kind of stomping on the stairs. And so we see you make your way up there. Henry, what are you doing?
I think that I don't think there's anything I need to do apart from put a bullet in the head of each of the goons.
Okay. I don't think there's a role for that. Pop, pop.
Silenced, of course.
Oh, of course. You've got this guy tied up. The three of you are there. He's bleeding quite badly.
Then in that case, I think that I did take medic. I will seek to make sure that he is not going to get worse. But I would like to say to Viola, can you clone anything in that comm setup? Just because it might be helpful.
Just about what I was going to take a look at.
Okay. So I don't think there's a role for medic because with the 14, I'm not going to penalize you and make you make another roll. But so I think it is you gag, do the quick prep. Maybe you have the syringe thing that shoots the foam into the wound. Drop that in the gunshot. It's a clean shot through. It just hit an artery. But you've got that staunched for the moment. Viola, you want to essentially clone the phones and the comm system here. I think that's going to be a spend from technical to do that. And then Carl, what are you doing?
Okay.
You see Viola move around, gears out. She's hitting everything electronic wise. Henry's dropped the two goons. What are you doing?
I think I'm wondering, do the goons in the car have the eyes on the entrance to this block?
Yeah, to this particular row house, yeah. So I mean, if you move him out that way, it's going to get seen. You could try and take him out the back, out the garden and out the alley.
I've got a suggestion for that. I want to make a preparedness roll to because I did think about this, and that's why there's a collapsible wheelchair and an old lady dress in the hall.
Let's have you roll preparedness.
I will spend 2 of my remaining 3 and roll 9.
So you've got it, but it does take a little bit of time to get this set up here. So I have a clock that I'm ticking right now. Just telling you that. So Carl, Henry's getting that together. So what do you want to do? Throw in the apartment? Are you making ready to get people out of here? How do you want to do that?
Yeah, I guess guess I guess with the moments that we have, I just do a quick look around for any valuable information that we might find here, just lying on the table, open files, just taking stock of what they have available here. Maybe have a board with everything, and yeah.
Let's have you make a notice spend.
Cool. Of course. I'm glad we have the notice.
Like he's got kind of a board. He's got like he's put up post-it notes that are clearly supposed to represent you guys with big question marks on them. He has separately, post-it notes that show Loretti and then a couple other people with, again, question marks. And the one thing that you will see is that he's written Carlisle in big question marks and circled that. And he's clearly got some other kind of like notes about what happened at the hospital, notes about what happened at the thing, and the question is, how, he's got written there, how did they break her? Question mark. That clearly doesn't understand what's going on. There is also a cache here with a lot of guns and a lot of money, like about 100,000 euros in various denominations. Some of Sinclair's passports, guns, that kind of thing here.
Well, obviously, I'm taking the case, just like cool, and Carlos closes this and takes it with him. So there was like a Carla, and like how do they break her, referring to whoever is named Carla?
The Carlisle is like a name, like there is clearly like, is Carlisle involved? And then the other question is, how did they break her, which seems to refer to Azure, like how did they get her out of that control? Also, you're also pretty certain that Sinclair is not a vampire, but given your vampirology, he is clearly a Renfield. He is clearly bitten like she is. Sound good?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I will drop it to Henry and say, he's also one of their minions. I don't suppose we should put one minion just next to the other in case this one also has mental link. I will try to work it out. Another safe place.
Quick mechanical question, Lowell.
Absolutely, yeah.
What role would it be to sort of convince people if I want to get some people to move from A to B, and tell them to do that, convince them that I'm the man in charge? What would that come under?
You mean to fool or try and turn them?
Fool them.
Fool them is either disguise, depending on how you want to play that, cover, or cool. Those are all ways to do that. You can certainly supplement that with negotiation, a spend from interpersonal, to boost that up. Flirting, high society, any of the interpersonal skills can probably be, since those are usually information gathering, you can probably do a spend to give yourself pool to do the convincing.
Yeah, what I was thinking here, folks, is you guys go up a floor or hide on the hallway or somewhere, maybe go into another apartment. Viola could flick me those copied phones. I'll just cycle through them until I get the guys on the bottom floor, and using my Lupatori voice box, ask those guys to come up. Something's happened upstairs, or could send them somewhere else. That might be a bit harder. But what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm coming out the front.
Yeah,
'Cause-
so I need to get those guys in the front to get past your disguise, basically, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to take my chances on the disguise.
Yeah, start making
but-
your way down the stairs. I'll send them past
well,
you.
I'll elevator with the wheelchair. And I'm
There is no
thinking,
elevator. I think I
Oh.
established that earlier.
You did.
Yeah, well, you pass him on the stairs. He's disguised as an old man.
Yeah, in a wheelchair that I'm kind of bumping down.
Yeah.
Wearing
I'm going
my
to try and convince them that they need to get upstairs to Swedish because there's a whole lot of nastiness. Maybe Carl could rig the oven in an explosive-y kind of way. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea because I'm now wearing my Eastern European care assistant.
Is that the same as a British care assistant outfit?
Well,
Same?
Helena is the most Eastern European I can come up with.
So moving
yeah.
down the stairs, wheelchair, old person, getting them past. As that is getting prepped, I assume Viola, you're going down with Henry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. At that moment, Carl, are you rigging the apartment?
I don't know. It's a civilian building. Like there are, I don't know, casualties.
Guess it's not that explosive.
Yeah,
You're good enough to blow this out.
sure. Let's do it. Hopefully, I can put just enough of mix with the. They probably have still gas in the stove, so probably like a mix with the gas and some plastic. Hopefully
Simple,
not to level the building.
simple explosives roll.
Yeah, nothing is ever simple. I think this is really not necessary. I'm not sure why we are doing this, but okay.
We want to create the impression that
Peer
Sinclair
pressure.
is dead,
Yeah.
at least for a period of time.
Yeah, I really don't want to cause too much damage to civilians. I'm going to wager 2.
Don't spend anything. Just roll.
I wouldn't feel good just murdering everyone in the building.
That's why it needs to be a good roll.
Yeah, it's a 10.
10. So yeah, you can get this set up. Let's see if Peter can get those people up there to see this to complete the illusion here.
Okay, I'm. Did we say it was cool? Was it or?
You can spend F of cool. Would be cool or cover would be a good one.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah, I'm going to come over really cool on. So I'm just going to cycle their phones until I recognise that one of them answers it.
Uh-huh.
And I'll see him from my vantage point. Hello. And using my voice box, I'll say, there's trouble up here, folks. Get up here.
And-
Sinclair. They're attacking. Get up here, you goons.
Perfect. And you've got the 3-point pool if you want to spend it on that.
I will indeed. So 2d6 with a modifier of 3. Let's see how convincing I am. 15.
So we see this split shot, alias style, setting up the thing, going down. We see Henry and Viola going down. These two guys get out of their cars. They go rushing up the stairs. Carl's gone down a back way. They get up, and when they get to that stairs just before that, and that's when it goes up, and it catches fire, and they're running for the fire extinguisher on the landing, and they're freaked out because their boss just got taken out, and we see the rest of you roll into your vehicle and then take off. Let's take our break here. Let's
Okay.
take to about 35 after, and then we will continue on. So we'll see how this connects up. I may have to attach the first recording to the second one, which I've had to do before. But so let's take up I heard second safe house. Somebody want to make a network spend on that?
If I have it, I will make it.
A network spend or some roll?
It's operational, yeah.
We're all a bit low on operational.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I'm looking at you here.
Me.
No, I'm looking at Carl in
Oh.
terms of what's left in the operational pot.
yeah. Although it's clear to me we have no juice to deal with the vampire. I'm going to spend 2. I'm going to call the contact I declared before,
Nero?
Nero, and ask her, hey, I need a place to lay low for a while. Can you provide? Let's see the roll. +2. It's a 9.
She says, yeah, but I can give you maybe 48 hours in a location. Are you good with that?
Should be enough. I guess another reservation. I will try to clean after myself.
Okay.
48 hours should be enough.
48 hours. And she'll say, go to this place, pick up these keys, and here's the location to go to.
Thanks, Nero.
Just be safe. And we will cut to you in this house. Sinclair's bandaged up. We'll assume he is secured.
I have a question. As we are dealing with Sinclair, do the vampires have clan markings like in the blades, or don't? Do we expect that he's also mentally connected to someone, or this is different?
So you don't see anything like a clan marker or tattoo or anything like that. But given what you've seen with Azure, he likely has that same mental connection. Though you expect it's one way. Like it's not like he can reach out to his master, but his master can reach out to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just wanted to establish this. Yes, please continue.
Yeah.
So we've probably only got until night time, before it. Yeah.
Yeah. We're probably 10, 11 a.m. right now. He's kind of shaken, a little bit pale. You have him tied up, but you'll see there's that bit where is he tied to a bed? Is he tied to a chair? Is what's the sitch he's in when he comes to?
What I'm pitching for here is however we would treat him if he was an enemy agent. So I'm pitching for standard MI5-6 British practice.
So table
Table with the cuffs in the middle.
I think I'll certainly cuff to the chair.
Yeah, table cuffed. There's a recorder present. There's coffee, and he will say, I'm not going to do a British accent because that would be the worst. He says, cigarette? May I? Can I have a cigarette?
We might get to that, Sinclair. But first of all, I need to know what you've been playing at.
Who else is in the room?
Who's our most sinister until we
Carl.
know that he's Polish? So I think perhaps Carl is pretending to be one of our scalp hunters.
Sure. Carl looks really weird sitting there next to you in a suit with a tie. It's clear that this suit doesn't fit him. It's like slightly too small, but yeah, he looks really amazing in the suit.
He does, and of course Sinclair takes a look. He sees the guy that he doesn't know he put a shot into you because you had the gas mask on. So what?
Time to come in from the cold, Sinclair.
I don't know. Maybe you want to give me a sense of exactly what you're asking. I'm a
I
trade
want to
agent.
know all about your master. And I am prepared to spend either questioning or negotiation.
I think we start with questioning. So give us a spend.
Okay, I will spend 1.
Where he does that thing, you put it in such a way that he knows what the level of information at play is. And he's like, what is it you want to know?
I want to know who it is and where it is.
Well, if you are who I think you are, you know that that's not information you're going to get from me.
Well, you see,
so hold on. Let's talk about ways that we can make this work for both of us.
I'm not entirely certain you're in a position to negotiate, Sinclair, but I'm prepared to listen.
I can't give you what you're asking there, but I'm more than prepared to put me back into play. I'm more than prepared to pass information on to you. There are others that I know about.
We know that isn't how this works, Sinclair. We know that he can control you, if it is a he. I think we're wasting our time. I look at Carl. I think we might as well put him down. Am I getting anything for that spend?
He says,
apart from no.
He says, look, I don't know. I'm just in the field. Are you the ones that picked up Azurt?
You're in no position to start asking questions.
Look,
I take a knife out and move towards him, and I slit up the inside of his sleeve to reveal the bite marks. Now, look, Sinclair, we're not idiots. You can try to play this out. You can wait for your master to come and rescue you. If it comes to that, you're going to be dead. So either give me something worth keeping you alive for, or resign yourself.
Well, I know now you're not Edom or Carlisle.
All you need to know is that you're in a rather difficult situation, my dear fellow.
Are you the ones who took Azurt? Because if you're not, I can tell you what's going on here. I can give you the general gist of this. Look,
I'll be honest with you, Sinclair. I was hoping you'd tell me about Azurt.
I am here because a more senior operative than myself went rogue, dropped what she was working on, and she was tracked here to Bucharest, caught a leak. She was involved with a set of 4 people. We only know 2 of them.
Who are they?
Guy named Pordano, general op, runs around, kind of a loose cannon. He's dead. And a priest named Loretti. We don't think he's Vatican. We think he's just general op. We don't know. He didn't give much before he died. All we know is there are 2 others that are out there. And we know that there's another team. I'm assuming it's you guys that grabbed up Azyurt. And if it is, I don't know who the fuck you are.
You see, what worries me about this interview, Sinclair, is you keep speculating. You're not actually giving me anything. You're just talking round this. Can we cut to the chase, or are we done?
What do you want to know?
I want to know who you're working for. I know you have a master. Look, I'm not stupid. If it helps, I'm not Edom, but I am an interested party from home.
Through the earpiece, I'll say, can we try and get some more information about Edom or Carlisle from them?
Yes. Now, when you talk about a senior operative, are we talking about Carlisle? And I'm trying to read the answer as much as wait for it.
He goes, no, Carlisle is another chief, like my master.
I see. Of course, that makes a lot of sense now. Yes, we don't know him as Carlisle. So there is your master. There is Carlisle. And how does Marta Azyurt fit into this? Because we've been looking for her for a couple of years, really.
My master turned her a couple of years ago. She was barking into some areas that intersected with his work, and he took the opportunity to groom her. She's been working for us for 2 years, so anything she's given back over the last couple of years, you know, is suspect. That should be worth something.
Yeah, again, my dear Sinclair, you are misunderstanding the nature of the conversation. We know Azyurt's blown. We've not been listening to anything we've got from that channel for some time. So can I just give me something that's worth keeping you alive? Maybe leaving you alive for your master. I'm not entirely certain that they'll be very pleased with you when they find you here chained to a chair.
We know that the people that were with Azyurt broke the connection. We don't know how. And we know that they believe that they have a permanent way to break that connection.
Are you... This is an honest question, Sinclair. Do you want to get out of this?
Alive, yeah.
And do you want to get out of this with your soul in any way intact?
I think that's a water under the bridge at this point.
And I turn to Carl and say, would you watch him for a moment, Michael? And leave. Because I think that we need to have him watched for a moment while we decide whether we put him down now or whether he's got any value to us.
Paul?
Yeah, Carl's got an earpiece, so you know he can at least hear the conversation and
yeah,
you know, stick up, give it a big thumbs if you think it's a good idea, Carl.
Yeah, scratch your nose if you think we're on track.
Sinclair
Viola, what do you think?
Sinclair will look at you, Carl, while after Henry leaves and does. Now, may I have a cigarette?
Oh my god, I'm so confused in the situation. Uh, yeah, I suppose I just take from my jacket some sort of a British cigarette pack, and then just like drop it on the table.
Do you have a light?
Yeah, I give him a pack of matches, also British.
He does that thing where he does it kind of one-handed to light the thing to get the cigarette, and he sits back. He's waiting. So let's cut to the conversation with the group of you.
Viola, what are you thinking?
If he's not giving up his master, then what real use is he to us at this point other than bait?
Did he or did he not offer to go back and do something for us, though? Not that I think he's trustworthy.
I mean, he's not, though, is he?
No, I don't think he's trustworthy because he probably isn't in control of his own actions all the time.
So, has he given us anything new? He's given us a clear idea that Houllier and the rest are onto something.
And that there's a bigger network of vampires. There's his master, Carlisle,
and then there's Carlisle,
and Edam.
And Edam, yeah. And we can speculate about Edam later because I'll need to tear down the Chinese wall between the character and the player. So is it worth letting him live? He's seen Carl. Viola?
I guess it depends.
How about we inject him with silver particles?
I had a slightly cruder solution, but Viola, what are you going to say?
It depends. It depends. Do you think there's any information we could feed him?
How about we create...
He thinks that we're with somebody that we are clearly not.
Could I give him a name from MI6 rather than 5 that might set them on a dodgy track?
Yeah, I think if we paint ourselves that we're working for another vampire organization, another master, let's create a fictitious master.
What, we're working for the vamps?
Yeah.
Oh, not working for MI6. Okay.
Yeah, you know, we work for the Romanian, I don't know, something or other. You know, I'm only saying it's an option. Somebody's trying to muscle in on...
To be honest, I'm not sure we know enough about the conspiracy to come up with anything that will convince any vampire worth their salt.
It's a conspiracy. You don't know all the facts. You know, there's layers. We just put another papier-mâché layer on it.
Okay, I'll go with that. I was going to go with simply setting them off on some other bit of MI6, but if you want to try and play that, so if I reappear in that room on my phone, finishing "Yes, Master, of course," click, that would be good enough, would it? That's what we'd leave it at. The only thing I am wondering is whether we need to give the impression of wanting to take out his master when his master comes to get him. Because I was thinking, again, I've watched too much Orphan Black, I was thinking of the pressure plate, the seat, and the explosive.
I'm all for trying to kill a vampire.
And then it would look like we have set a trap to kill the vamp.
Remember, we still have some rose water.
Yeah, I just don't want to waste it. And I don't
How
want
about
him to
a
know.
few rounds?
No, but hang
sort of-
on. They connect that with Marta and this cell. If we are Vamp Renfields, we wouldn't have it. Would
But
we?
if we take out the vampire, it would be immaterial.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm very happy to put a camera in here and record the demise of the vampire, but I don't have high hopes on that, if I'm honest. I want
Well,
it
that's
to
why
appear
I
that
thought
we...
using the rose water would kill the vampire. It repulsed it last time.
It did, but I think we're a long way from weaponizing it. And can we afford to waste it? It's so far, it's the only solid protection we've got.
Okay, no, I'm more than happy to go with that. Carl, are you a left nose or right nose? What's your opinion? Basically, that's what I'm skimming you for here. You don't have to keep the camera going.
Yeah, let's do it. Although I am really thinking, no, I don't think this guy will tell us how to kill its master. So probably we cannot do it. I know
So
it's. Gosh, it will sound so brutal. Do the trolls have the same vulnerability of their masters? Can we, like, I don't know, test garlic silver sunlight on him, or it doesn't work?
So we're just going to try and get some surveillance on the master, are we? Or whoever comes to pick up.
That's what I was thinking, but we need to make the master think that we're seriously trying to take him out, which is why I want a pressure pad under the seat with an explosive.
Yeah,
I don't expect the master not to be able to solve that problem, but and at least we'll find out if they can be photographed.
yeah. I mean, he may send some more goons.
He might.
Free him.
He might.
But but it's got to be that psychic. He doesn't know how he got here. We black bagged him, so probably the master has got to turn up at least nearby. So yeah, we'll set up some surveillance. Set up some. Carl's awesome with explosives. Yeah. So we'll pressure plate him. But do you want to do your sort of bit?
Yeah. So I think it is as simple as that, really. As I go into the room, I'm just kind of, yes, master, click. As you say, click. And I
let me say one more thing. Since I'm getting a very bad vibe right now from you. You know what I can't say. And I'm well aware that I am disposable in the eyes of my master. Unfortunately, those two statements are not contradictory. But perhaps I can tell you something that will make it, that doesn't betray my master, but puts you in a better position. Willing to hear me out?
The clock is ticking, frankly, Sinclair, but...
There are two hunters in the city, and when night falls, they're going to be after, and he points at Carl, and whoever else got hit.
Oh, fine.
Says, because my master got the taste of two of you, pass that on to the hounds. And if you're still in Bucharest come nightfall, they will be here for you. And it's likely that if he doesn't hear from me, that they'll probably drop them on me as well.
Well, look, my assumption, Sinclair, is that your master will come to find you. And therefore you won't be surprised if we just need to leave a small gift. And I nod to Carl who will kind of go out of the room, come back with this device that he kind of ratchets up under the seat. And I say, now, Sinclair, I would ask, don't jump to your feet.
Is there any way I can convince you to just let me walk from here, like telling you where the hounds are right now?
Well, it does seem like you are getting rather more talkative, Sinclair. I try me.
There is a club in Bucharest. They'll be spending the daylight hours there, taking shark and whatever else. And when night falls, that's when they're going to hit the streets. They're twins. They're real easy to spot.
And which club is that, Sinclair?
Gives you a name.
Look, I like to think that we play fair, Sinclair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you this hacksaw. Now, if you can reach it and saw through those cuffs before the gift we've left for your master shouts bang, then I'll consider it that that's a sign of me being a good sport. Bye for now, though. Come along, Michael.
He reaches over, pulls out another cigarette, and lights that as you leave.
So, I don't know who's best placed to set up surveillance on this location so we can see if the master arrives, we get any picture of him or them.
I think it is probably, now mind you, you only have this place for another day and a half, but it shouldn't be that hard for you to set up surveillance here. I don't even think that's a role for that. I think you have the technique to do that.
Yeah, me and Carl have it, so we'll wire the place. You know, time is not super critical now.
And then as we're driving away, I think I look over at Viola and say, I think we really need to find Julie now.
That, well, it's a bit grisly, but I think Carl might be able to do something with one of the hunter's corpses. Maybe figure out what exactly it is we're dealing with here.
Do we fancy our chances against a pair of twins during daylight hours?
They're creepy-ass twins. I'm sure that's all they have going for them.
Well, I'd rather take my chances during the day hours than the night hours.
True. But
I can roll with that.
Getting Houllier, the biochemist, that's pushing it up. We're dealing at a higher level if we can get some rose water weaponized sort of thing. But I think probably, are we saying the immediate threat is the twins?
I think Viola's right. I think if we don't take them, they'll take us.
Twins it is then.
So a quick satellite scan, general scan, will point you to a high-end entertainment district, one of those walk down into the basement, large clubs, darkened lights, 24-hour party people. It runs all the time. It is a den for high spenders and criminal elements that are there all the time. Trading drugs, drinking, making arrangements, all of that kind of thing. Bouncers on the door, but this is kind of such a dangerous place. Just the people here are dangerous, that security isn't like super tight, because people wouldn't screw with these people. It'd be everybody knows here to kind of leave this place off limits. So, and it's noisy and loud and raucous, no matter what time of the day you go in there. There is a servants like entrance, essentially a service entrance for the back bar and deliveries and all of that kind of thing. And probably an emergency exit, as well as the main walk downstairs.
Before we head in, is there anything we should know about the hounds? Are they, I don't know, lesser vampires, better trolls? I don't know. Is it not a term? What should we know
You have
about?
the sense, certainly from the way Sinclair was talking, is that these guys have some abilities. They might not be vampires. You're not sure what that extends to, but they clearly can trace people by the smell of blood, which suggests they might have other talents, though what that could be is unclear.
So, would I know? Should we bring something special with us, or?
It is always good to carry a full kit of holy water, the host, crosses, all of that kind of thing with you, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, sure.
Carl, how faithful are you? Like, are you Catholic, Protestant, Eastern Orthodox? I've given up on God a while ago. What do you think?
The last part.
Okay.
Carl just gave up on this stuff, but knowing that it works on vampires makes him rethink. But he isn't sure what else is true and the stuff. So it's like, this is finally the proof that maybe some higher power exists, but it's hard to know which one is actually true and which one is fake. So he goes to the priest to buy the holy water, but of all the religions, and we'll see. But so far he's an atheist.
I don't think actually priests sell it. That there's no buy your holy water.
My son, no. You could just take it.
Yeah, but like he needs it in bulk, so you know.
Capitalist priests.
Well,
He needs to pay a bit of money so the priest doesn't ask why exactly you need all this holy water.
why are you putting it in a squirt bottle?
Yeah.
So, how do we see this going down? So, I think we're doing a bit of planning as we're looking at this laptop. Image in the van as we're driving there. Spends are getting a bit low, so a couple of twins. I don't think we're in a position to guns are blazing in a nightclub.
No, I agree. I think we need to find a way to clear it and then blow it up.
Okay, I was thinking maybe either high society or flirting sort of skills.
At the minute, I have a full 3 points left in general. So the only thing I'm good for at the minute is flirting and high society.
I mean, I've got 1 point in high society. I've got 1 point. I've got high society. There is spends there that you can then flick into other areas.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of flirting. I could spend that on cover to get us in there or something like that. I don't know. But yeah,
I was thinking more trying to separate them from others.
Currently, they ought to be asleep, oughtn't they? If we think that that's what we're working on, the daylight thing.
Yeah,
what he said was they are there partying.
Oh, they're partying. Okay. Yeah. So they're not proper vamps. So a pair of weird-looking twins in a daytime party, I would suggest they ought to stand out like sore thumbs.
Yeah, I think if we went in there, they would stand out. But planning while we're in there is hard. I'm just thinking, what support? If you go in there you know, under some sort of flirting or high society guise to separate them or whatever. So let's think the aim is to take them out, yeah?
I think so.
Okay. So the flirting or high society would just be to separate them from the general hullabaloo.
I don't like where this is going. Are you suggesting I
don't
try
wanna-
to get two weird ass twins to the VIP room?
Possibly, you know, I don't like mucking around with people's player agency, and definitely I don't want to push you in that weird area, Alan. I think that would be that would help, and then, you know, this is not good.
My
Then we
weirdest
could do-
idea is to just get some help from my contacts so that we have a few more hitmen with us and we just spray them with bullets until they don't move. And
No,
maybe,
yeah, but spraying anything with bullets hits standards hits other people. You know, this will be all over the news. I'd really prefer to take them out. How about drugs? That sort of thing. You know,
Look, we
maybe
don't know
Viola
enough.
could knock up some sort of horrendous sort of drug. You could tip in their drinks.
Look,
How about that?
we have no we think they're more than human.
True.
I just think we don't know enough about them. We can separate them, and then we need to blow them to tiny pieces. And I get the heat problem, but I don't think we've got time to be sophisticated with this one. If we miss this window, we're kind of screwed.
I am all in favour of taking them out. I'm just not liking the possible collateral damage here. This is bad collateral damage. So I say we need to separate, cut them from the herd, and then take them out.
Okay. I can do that.
I mean, it is a place that's packed, so we could probably all be in there.
Yeah.
We just need somewhere to get. As you said, I think the VIP area is a good place to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I've got high society. I should be able to get in there. Maybe with street wise, you know, the other two could be low life, but higher up low lives. They could get in there with that. You know, and then we do them there.
So let me just mechanically, Lowell.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether I need to cash in my final cherry. I have a possible cherry on disguise that
Okay.
would allow me to disguise everyone.
You do that, and there'll be no roll for infiltration. You can get in there, get cover. You can
Okay.
say where you're at in the place.
Okay. Then I will cash in my last current. There it is. Okay, so I've taken makeup artists. Mark to have your disguise attempt apply to your entire team, allowing you to coordinate appearance and identities. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I won't even have you roll. You've had time to sit on this. I'm going to let you go with that.
Okay. So I've marked that. We are in the club. Can we see? And we'll worry about whether we're together or
let
separate.
me ask this: are all four of you in the club?
Ooh.
I hear that Peter is. I hear that Henry is. I know that Carl is. Viola, are you in the club as well?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll be
Okay.
in the club.
Okay. Then I think that you will go in there. Imagine this is now 1-2 o'clock. So what you've got is not beautiful young people here. You've got older people who've come here for the liquid lunch and to have lap dances and all of that. And it is incredibly seedy. Everything in here is unpleasant, loud, and sticky. And you kind of move in through here, and again, no smoking rules in here, so it just a haze of cigarette smoke, and at the back, you know, in the kind of the big area, there are these two big guys They're bald. They've got tattoos on their heads. They're in sweat jackets with the hoods down. They've got tattoos on the back of their hands. They look identical, and the look on the faces of the people waiting on them is definitely of sort of general fear and terror. And there's just empty glasses and ashtrays and things, and you know, maybe you'll see somebody come up who's clearly a dealer, and you know, there's some money exchange, and they take some stuff, and they don't even hide bending down and getting a good sniff off of something on the table. But you know, you're in there for maybe, you know, kind of looking around, stuff like that, and you see one of them go and kind of stop what they're doing.
Which is probably when the only thing in this room that is not tacky and sticky is Henry, wearing her Crystal outfit, and Crystal is going to, at the moment she sees that kind of hang on, because I don't think I've been. So I think it's going to be somebody else in the room. So I am going to flirt and distract.
Absolutely. So let's have you make an interpersonal spend from flirting,
Okay.
and essentially you want to get. You can get both of their attentions, or you can get
Well,
one of their attentions solidly.
Can I suggest
Yeah.
what I think I'm trying to do here
Mhm.
is I want to spend that flirting to then turn that into some kind of operational,
Sure. What is
or
it? What is it
even
you want?
disguise.
Yeah,
Well, I think I want to convince them that I am the highest class hooker they have ever seen.
I think that you converting that into cool.
Okay. And I would like to roll and take all three of those into a cool roll, which is 10 plus 3 is 13. If my perfume is not distracting them, then I am not as hot as I look.
Like the one who was kind of looking around, like clearly he smelled something, you know, like that could have gotten to him. But then you're up in their face. They're still a little stoned and a little drunk. And yeah, they're like, where do you want to go?
Well, I'm assuming that there is a VIP area.
Oh, then they're kind of getting up. They when they push on the couch to kind of stand up, they just tear the handle off of the couch. And the two of them kind of stand up and kind of stumbly follow you. The women who are like the hostesses and things like that, like they get out of the way. They move out of the way, these people. When this is happening, where are you positioning yourself, Carl? Are you heading to the VIP room? Are you setting yourself up somewhere else? Where do you think you're setting, and what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to the VIP room to set myself for a kill shot once they enter.
Okay. Do you want to make a military science spend to refresh one of your physical or operational pool?
Yes, that makes a total sense.
Yeah. So tell me what I mean. Are you behind a curtain? Are you hidden somewhere else? Are you getting mirrors set up? What do you think are you doing to give yourself the edge that you need?
So I think I've noticed that it happens what I was expecting, that they could have smelled me. So I actually position myself. Yeah, well, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I think it's underground. There are probably no curtains. I'm thinking, how could this room look like, and what could be the hiding place?
So imagine we've got a room that probably has like curtains for like a side access for hostess to come in and out. There's probably a little raised table. There's probably a pole. There's probably a wraparound couch. There probably maybe some small side tables there. There are mirrors everywhere, little light things, and thank you, and the speakers in here.
Yeah, I suppose I hide behind the curtain and just by the door that the staff is using to get the drinks in here.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I'm not sure what kind of heavy gear I could bring in here legally, or do I need to make some extra effort to bring something heavy over here?
When you say heavy, what do you mean? Like, yes, you could probably have any kind of pistol. You've got enough skill to get that in without any kind of roll. If you want to have, say, a submachine gun or something like that, then we're probably a little bit, different. If you want to have like a Gurkha blade, that seems reasonable. But if you want to have a katana, that's probably a little more questionable.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm not sure if it's worth spending both talents, but it appears we are with our backs to the wall. So I think I'm going to mark in the nick of time, and we see that Carl goes to the bed, and from under the bed he pulls like a sport bag, and he like unzips it, and we see like a machine gun there, just like because, and we see like a flashback, like Carl pays some like cleaning service
Oh
person,
yeah,
like smuggle it inside.
They've dropped it in that hall. You get back there with the curtain, you pick up your bag, you unzip it, and you've got all your gear.
Yeah. So we're going with like a machine gun. Carl just like jumps like the belt with the bullets. This is going to be big and loud.
Viola, what are you doing as Henry is walking these two living mounds of muscle over to the VIP room? Where are you at? I think you're muted, Viola.
Yeah, looking at my stuff here, I think yeah, I think I'm going to spend one for my streetwise to do that as setup of making certain staff is paid off to not to keep a wide berth from the area we're taking things through.
Perfect. So yeah, you're getting people cleared out of the way. You are clearing any bystanders from the area. What are you doing, Peter?
I would like to sort of using my talent. I know I've used the good stuff, but that combined with chemistry, I would like to have a syringe of what's the one that's horrendously stronger than heroin? Fentanyl.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like a nasty dose. Enough to tranquilize. Shergar. Yeah, I want a big syringe of fentanyl ready to jab it into one of these guys.
Okay. Make a medicine spend, and you'll have that set up to use your medic as an attack. Does that seem reasonable?
Sounds nice.
So Henry, tell me what this looks like. Because you obviously have to kind of go first, right? How do you change that positioning? What do we see?
Of course. So I think, knowing as I do, that this curtained area has got Carl in it, I think that whenever we've done this kind of thing before, Carl is always on the left side of the doorway. So I think what I do is I go in and I sweep the curtain around to the left, covering Carl, and stand there with it behind me, looking seductive, while they take a seat on whatever comfortable chairs are provided.
Yeah, they stumble in when they drop to the chair. There's that crunch as they sit, and they're kind of seated there, and they turn and look to you, Carl.
I'm so pleased I didn't need to go any further than that. Thank you.
Carl, you
Yes.
have the edge, which means that you are going to roll this with advantage.
Yeah. Oh
Now,
my
let
God.
me ask you this.
Mhm.
Do you want to try and definitively take out one of them? Or do you want to try and do damage to both of them?
Yeah, I think I'm going seeing how they are beefed cake, seeing how much they are beefed. I think this is going to be like half of the belt into one body.
Okay, then that is with advantage, combat against an equal foe. We'll have you go, and then we'll roll to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I'm just like really thinking because I also have a sniper.
Probably not the space for a sniper rifle. Really good here.
Well, yeah, but snipers, it's a talent that basically says
Oh,
that,
that's
like,
right.
I mean, a talent, not like a sniper rifle. I'm just wondering if it's good to use it because I will not be able to use it later. But you're giving me the edge. I will mark the sniper.
Okay. So there is that moment when they've both sat down and the closest one kind of turns to grin, and they clearly done a lot of alligator and crocodile and all of that stuff. So their teeth are that kind of blackened and yellow. And so when they smile, it's got that like sort of wicked, almost fang-like, almost like they've sharpened it. And one of them is kind of reaching out a big meaty hand towards you. And then curtain comes open and brrr, you just light him
comes
up.
in, holding the gun with both hands, just like unleashing this hell of bullets.
Peck and paw, slow motion, dances in the seat there. The blood is everywhere. We've spent the whole budget on squibs. They dance, just mirrors shatter in the air. And suddenly just the air is filled with that red mist as the other one is kind of rolling to try and get to the fence. Henry, you're the next closest person. Carl has taken out one of them definitively dead. But there's still one there.
There is still one there. And I think the best I can do, this place is full of aging gangsters, isn't it?
Yeah, out there. And actually, Viola's kind of getting him cleared away right now.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so she is. Okay. Then I think I stumble to one side, drawing the pistol from my garter, and I try to shoot him in the head.
Combat against an equal foe. You don't have the edge. So standard shooting.
Yeah, exactly so. Now, I would like to spend one from flirting to make this such an unlikely possibility that I'd have 3 to move across to operational shooting.
I think that is a great way to handle that.
Because frankly, I am no threat. I think, in fact, this example of my disguise is called underestimate Henry. So I will roll 2 plus 3 to shoot. That is an 8.
That is an 8. So against an equal foe, deal harm to your foe and choose one. deal more harm, suffer no harm, give or take advantage forward, shift the edge, reposition the conflict, or another benefit.
Oh dear.
Could he flick the advantage to another player?
That's what I'm
He has it.
thinking.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking. I think that I will flick the advantage. So I will do harm, and I will accept that I may
That
take
gun
some
goes
harm.
up to his head, and you fire it off, and it hits, and his head cocks back and comes back up, and he's bleeding, but he is still up. And one
And I think
hand comes out, backhands you into the mirror for 2 harm. But only because it doesn't get like a direct hit on you. You smash into that. The wind is knocked out of you. And now, Peter.
So, yeah, Peter is not a hand-to-hand expert in any way, shape, or form. So I think, like the last Leonardo DiCaprio Live and Die in Hollywood or whatever, basically, I'll just come out in this sort of psycho, running out of the shadows. But I'm going to try and get him on the side where this blood's sort of pouring down his face where he was shot.
He's got the powder burns. You can tell that's the sparks from it went in his eye, so he's kind of blinded on that side. You can roll medic as your attack with advantage.
Superb. Let's quickly look at that on the character sheet. Oh yeah, medic with advantage. Well, just to be on the safe side, I will spend 2.
Only 2?
I've got advantage, so I'm rolling 3 dice.
There's almost no
3
chance that you
2.
could fail.
Lowell has said the thing. He said that thing. That's the kiss of death.
Okay, here we go. Did anything happen? Yes, it did. Well, plus, so it's 13.
13.
Oh, no, down by 1, 12.
Still, 12 plus, deal harm to your foe and suffer no harm. Choose 2. Deal more harm, take or give advantage forward, shift the edge, reposition the conflict, or another benefit.
Do more harm.
So I think that there is that moment when you stab him in there, and you've got this wide bore needle to do
right
that.
in his eyeball.
And I think it goes in, and I think you crack that off, and I think that's the moment that we see the spray come out, and he staggers back, and I think it is nothing for Carl to kind of pause and then and light him up, and he dances back. His body, like he's trying to move, but that stuff is already hitting his system, and then he's down, dead. And I imagine it's a quick movement of the 4 of you out service doors, through kitchen. Items are being dropped, disguises are being changed, out the back way, heading for the vehicles, and a quick drive out into the Bucharest afternoon.
That was trippy.
Yep.
So that's where we're going to stop. So the first mission is kind of accomplished. We have a secondary mission. That secondary mission is Hulyar and Rostami, and dealing with that situation and the question of that. So refresh everything.
Okay.
End of mission refreshes everything. Because it kind of splits us then. The second mission will be the next 2 sessions with the sort of the separate Hulyar, all of that question, because you've kind of taken this first master's like utility off the table. Sound reasonable?
Yeah. To clarify, is that harm and conditions as well?
Not harm and conditions, but we'll come back to that because people will be able to spend medic and things on that. So all of the abilities and all of the talents will refresh.
Well, I have to say I haven't left much in the locker, so thank God for that.
Yeah. As well, you can advance. Okay. So when you advance, you can I'm going to tell you 3 things. You can pick 2 of them, and you can pick the same thing twice, with the exception of talent. You can only take a new talent once on this, okay? But you could take a point on investigation, you could take 3 points on a general pool, or you could take a talent. So you could take 2 investigation points or 6 general points, or 3 general points and a talent. And
So
yeah.
So we've got 2 things to spend. One thing buys you 1 investigative, or 3 general, or 1 talent.
1 talent, but you can only buy one.
You only
You
get
can't
one
buy
talent.
talent twice. That's
Okay,
the only
okay,
restriction on
okay.
that, because the talents are very nice. Let me move the heat clock up a little too.
What, a gas explosion and a shooting in a gangster club? It's daily.
Massacre.
Oh,
in the-
did we keep any of the did we keep either of the bodies?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but we can negotiate about like substances picked up or specimens or things like that next time. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
I've still got a talent in hand,
Ooh.
but I am going to pick another talent. So, you know, I've got 4. I quite like. I also quite like sniper. That Carl's got. I don't really want to take a step on your feet though, pal. Pavel.
It seems you are much more often in a position to snipe stuff than I am. I worked really hard to finally use it, so feel free to take it.
Yeah.
It was a nice
I mean,
setup, though. It was a good call there.
Yeah, suppression's quite a nice one actually. That's in the same one for close in type work.
Yeah, maybe I should change it because it feels like you will be much. I'm not sure if I can change it after I used it already. I'm not sure.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty flexible about it. We're still in early days as you're getting used to your character.
Yeah, because it feels like you are much more in a sniper position than I am. So maybe I should definitely take something from shoot different than sniper.
Yeah, I will rob your sniper.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I would like to do just a quick stars and wishes here.
Sure.
Let's see. So let's just do a quick round. Paul, stars, wishes, thoughts, wishes, what you want to see next time, stars, things you dug from this time.
Stars from this time. Alan, yeah, nice to see him put in a bit of an awkward situation. He will pick playing a female, so it was nice to see him. Yeah, that mass discussion about flirting, especially being British. I know it's always a hard thing. And really, you know, again, great teamwork from the team there. You know, there was no real standing on people's feet. Good bit of discussion. So, you know, Carl and Viola, you know, great as well. And really, Lowell, you know, the pace was really good. You know, bit of action, then a bit of come down, then back up. You know, I thought the pacing was really good. Time went quick, but it never seemed wasted. You know, really good. So thank you. Wishes, just more of the same. You know, I'm really happy with it, so I don't want to see anything different, really.
Okay. Stephen, stars, wishes?
Oh yeah, well, I thought that things wrapped up into kind of a nice climax that was entertaining. I'm just thinking through here my other thoughts.
Nice job clearing the people, because sometimes that gets forgotten in this. I want to point that out as a nice move there, because I think we kind of had been moving so fast we forgot about it. It was good of you to clear the collateral on that.
Yeah, and I did enjoy Like I enjoyed that whole situation with what's his face, the spy we captured.
Sinclair,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I thought that there was some nice, like it was an interesting situation because it was kind of one of those, well, what are we willing to do here with this captured enemy agent, both like strategically and ethically? And so that was kind of a nice it was an interesting situation for our characters to have a conversation about.
Hmm.
Um and then yeah, I'm interested in kind of seeing where if like where this all leads, like what exactly we can figure out from now that we've had a confrontation with kind of not the big bad, but like kind of some of the lower down but still clearly a little bit of cult folks.
Hmm. Awesome. Pavel?
A big star to you, Lowell, for reminding us and offering the opportunity to refresh points. It's really important because it's really good that you're pointing out, hey, maybe you wanna spend investigator to refresh pool. Alon, this interrogation scene, it was really pure gold. It was really cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed the session. It's still a bit tricky. We still haven't found a way to kill the vampire. I'm really looking forward to how we go about it. Yeah, had some cool spy time and good action movie scenes, so I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. And Alan?
Yeah, I think individual stars. I think for that last scene when Carl was lighting them up. Um, this is all a bit aggressive, but forgive me. And I really thought I was thinking, oh, don't kill Sinclair. But that just pulling that role out of the box at the right time, Paul, to wing him and subdue him. I thought it was all going to go horribly wrong. And Viola, whenever you need a chemist, you're the person I'm going to come to, because making the pumping the gas in, all of that, all worked very well for me. And Lowell, we had a kidnapping, an interrogation, and a shootout. That's not a bad checklist for genre, is it?
Nope.
Wishes an opportunity to draw breath.
Yeah, I think you definitely will get it. The refresh that you've gotten tonight will be represented in that sort of pause between now and the next step on the chain of things. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you trying this out, and we will move forward on the Rostami, Hillier, and maybe even Carlisle angle of things next time. So thank you all very much, and I'm going to stop recording.